Hey, this is Herbert. Today I'd like to talk about a question of how to know if you're on track to success. I mean, we never know if we're getting any close to what we want, right? Whether the things that I'm doing is on the right track or whether the steps that I take can get me to what I want. And today I'm going to share with you what are the signs, how do we know that we're doing the right thing, and what are the secrets of successful people achieving great things. I want to share with you my story 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago that I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad that I built myself a dream that I wanted to buy rental properties so that I could collect rents. But it's only until last year, it took me almost 10 years to achieve this one goal. And what did I do throughout the 10 years? What are the small, simple steps that took me forward every day that I was able to withstand the time of 10 years to achieve this goal I want to share with you? It all started with Rich Dad, and I was thinking about how could I accumulate more wealth. And during that time, I started 3 businesses, but 3 of them failed. But I never stopped moving forward because I know that each of these small, simple steps are moving me forward. Although I failed miserably, but I know that I failed better every day and every time. So the next thing that I do, even though I fail, I was trying to find ways to get more savings because I need that deposit. That's the time when I started to buy gold and set money aside because I figured out that if I keep money inside my bank account, if I see it all the time, I'm going to spend it. It's not going to work. So I buy gold, I hide it under the bed, and accumulate some sort of deposit to get me moving. And it's only until 4 years ago I paid $200,000 to study a UK property course. And it was not all that useful for me at this moment because I'm buying a Hong Kong property. But nevertheless, I recognize this as a successful, small, simple step that get me forward. That's a small step that I take towards the goal I needed to get that knowledge in order for me to know more and in order for me to take the right steps. So I did it. It wasn't the exact right step, but I still do it and I recognize it and I'm happy about it. And it's only until last year I was able to remortgage my old house, make a new mortgage, and buy my first rental property in Hong Kong. That takes a total of 10 years to make that happen, but it's because I was able to recognize each small, simple, sometimes wrong steps that take me this day to get what I want regarding my rental property and about achieving wealth. So what are the signs to prove that you're on the right track of being successful? I want you to learn to recognize small signs of success. It's because we can expect great signs, great success in year 1 or year 2. You're going to learn to be patient. So sign number 1, feedback. For you to get any sort of feedback, first you're going to have to tell the world what you're doing. And in the beginning, it's perfectly normal that no one will tell you what you did right. And everybody is going to tell you what you did wrong or your mistakes. But don't worry about that. I want you to remember that this is perfectly normal, and I want you to remember the good comments that you receive and you amplify that 10 times bigger than the negative ones. I want you to reduce the noise of negative comments, because it's perfectly normal for our own human brain to amplify negative voices than positive voices. Negative voices tend to get stuck in our brain, and I want you to remember that. I want you to take every feedback, every criticism as good and positive, because even criticism, it means that you're getting noticed. Getting noticed means that you're important, and getting noticed is so much better than invisible and not getting any attention. And sign number 2, I want you to pick up those small signs of success, because once you have taken the action, you have told the world, you're ready to expect some feedback. But I want to tell you, in the beginning, you won't be hearing a lot of feedback, but you are so much bigger than you actually are. And I want to explain you why. Because positive just don't show in the beginning. So you have to be very sensitive in every action and every feedback that you're getting, because those are significant. I want to give you an example of me in the beginning. I'm setting up my YouTube channel. I get only like 8 views or 10 views. I've been waiting for months and months, and I only get like 30, 40 views. And I want you to put that into perspective. Imagine if you have a room of 10 or 30 or 40 people listening to you presenting. That is significant. So 10 views, 8 views has significant value, and you don't think yourself as not important. And point number 2, people are being scared of being judged when they press that like button. So they are very careful in what they like. I have instances where colleagues, they come over to me and they say they watch my stuff, but they never like any of my stuff. And imagine what if you are the one who walk over to somebody and tell them that you watch their stuff. It means so much. And I want you to take every small recognition onto yourself that you're doing a great job, and in picking up these small successes, that you know that you are on the right track of being successful, and you're extremely successful. I want to tell you that. Move on. Great job. So I would like to share with you what are the secrets of successful people achieving great, difficult things. I've studied many of these successful business entrepreneurs, and they all have one common theme. It's the persistence in difficult times. They fail their way to success and never admit failure as permanent. One of the mentors that inspire me is property entrepreneur Robert Kiyosaki. I'm sure that you know that he wrote his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I'm not sure if you know, before he was a success being a best-selling author, he has failed his wallet business. He has to sleep in his car together with his wife for months before finding this education company, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And Rich Dad Poor Dad is also not an instant success. He was dead broke, and it was the time when Oprah arranged an interview for him. Then it was becoming a best-selling book. And I would like to share with you about my story of how I failed my way to success. I have had 4 business failures. The first one was importing home accessories from Japan, and that business failed in the first month. Within the first month of operation, and I have to go back to a job. And my second business was importing flip-flop from Thailand, check-to-check markets. I was able to sell it online in Yahoo, but later on I wasn't able to sustain the level of income. I have to close it down. And my third business was developing my own brand of canvas shoes manufacturing from Qingdao, China, I was able to successfully penetrate these products into department store, and I was also able to secure investments from other business partners. However, it failed at the end because I wasn't able to expand my sales channel. And my fourth business was a sports business. I import products from the US, and at the same time I run a training business with Hong Kong national team basketball player. However, I was self-centered back then. I don't know how to handle relationship correctly, and that business failed too. And now I'm on to my fifth business, being a motivational speaker appearing in front of you and a performance coach. But what I want to say is that in conclusion of these 4 business failures is that even though that I failed, but every time I failed better. I failed better each time. My first business, it ends in a month, but with each successive business, the business life became longer and I'm able to make money. And the message I want to carry to you is that I'm gonna prove to you that I will fail my way to success, and I'll never stop until I become a successful performance coach and a motivational speaker. The second secret that I want to share with you of how successful people able to achieve great difficult things is they believe that every step that they take is successful. They never let themselves to believe that the action that they take will lead to failure. One of the mentors, I have so many mentors, his name is Denlock. You can check out his videos. He defines success as long as you take one step closer to your goal, you call yourself successful. Meaning that any action, as long as you're willing to take action towards your goal, you are successful. That's his definition, and that's how he moved me, and that's how he made me believe that as long as I'm willing to walk forward, as long as I'm going to do something, I will become successful. And I told you about how I invested 200K into a UK property course, and after taking that course, you know that I never purchased any property in UK. And after taking the course, I have 2 choices. Choice number 1, do I deem this money invested in the property course failure? Or the second choice, how can I make it more useful? How can I make value out of the things that I've already learned, which I wasn't able to use it at that time? I keep on looking for opportunities, and last year I was able to use these skills in analyzing the Hong Kong property market, and finally I was able to make my first rental property investments. The secrets of successful people achieving great difficult things is their belief in every step they take will lead them to success, and each step that they take, they're getting closer to their goal. And I want you to remember, as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep on taking that action, then you're going to be successful. The third secret of how successful people achieving great and difficult things is they ask a different set of questions against the general population. They ask not what they can get, but successful people ask what they can give and how they could create more values. They would do things opposites against human nature. When you think about being an employee or being an entrepreneur or being a successful person, they actually think totally opposite beliefs. As an employee, normally we would think, how do we do less work? But being an entrepreneur, they would think, how could they achieve more in a better and a faster manner? As an employee, we would normally think that how could we increase our salary? But as an entrepreneur, they would normally think, how can they work more efficiently at a lower cost? Being an employee, we would think, how do we take less risk and how do we get job stability? But for an entrepreneur, they would think about how could they take a calculated risk and make exponential return. And I want to share with you about my story of ask not what I get, but I ask myself, what can I give? It's about 4 to 5 years that I've been teaching Sunday school, and in the beginning or even back in the past, I would think, what a stupid job that is. You're not getting paid, and your job is to be responsible to look after a bunch of kids. It's like babysitting. But after I take this responsibility, I'm actually starting to discover that I'm on the receiving end of this task of being a Sunday school teacher. I've learned to present very well every week to a bunch of kids, and I learned to communicate, and I learned to attract attention. I guess if you have any experience of talking to a bunch of kids, you know that they have a much less attention span than adults. They are less polite than adults. If they're bored, they're gonna tell you. So the message that I want to deliver to you is that if you want to be a successful people, you're gonna think in reverse. We have to start asking ourselves not what we get by doing something, but we ask what we can give and how do we give more. I hope this video can help you unveil the secrets of how successful people achieving great and difficult things. If you like this video, press a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time and to tell you more about how to achieve more in life.